What's up guys, it's Saiyan here. Welcome to the Book of Boba Fett from way before there was such a thing as Book of Boba Fett. We're gonna look at an old school premiere to probably, I guess, special edition. I don't know, there's fairly early release course, Jabba's Palace rendition of a dark side Tusken Raiders Boba Fett deck. So if you're into this kind of stuff, then please join me. If you're not, then this is the moment to turn this video off. So, to start with the funsies, of course, I need to clarify that we are not running any of the V cards, and I know that recently there was a whole virtual set released around Book of Boba Fett. Well, I kinda had this idea in my mind before the community released that set, but I just could not get my hands on this particular guy here. Apparently, it's harder to find than you would think. So yeah, let's look at this deck. Obviously, the star of our show is particularly going to be around the Tuscans. And to start with, we are running just 6 Tuscans straight up. Now this number could be looked into, probably could be refined, but 6 I found is a fairly good little starting number to start deck building with, and I just kind of stuck with it for now. Now the Tuscan Raiders get better the more you have in play. They come down for 2, they have 1 forfeit, which is really not a lot, and they also have 2 twos for Destiny, which again is not exactly great, but generally our average Destiny in this deck is pretty good. The power of a Tusken Raider is the total power of a group of Tusken Raiders depends on how many are present. If you have 1 Tusken Raider present, then the power is 1. If you have 2 present, the power is 3. 3, you have a 6 power, and 4 of them are present. They have a power of 10. Limit of 4 at one side. Deploy only to Tatooine, but may move elsewhere. So really just the idea is that we don't really want to have a single Tusken Raider down on one of the Tatooine sites. Have like 2, maybe 3 down, and hopefully also get one of the unique Tuskens also with them, so they can do a bunch of shenanigans, you know, raid unassuming traders and just be generally nasty to everybody and everything that comes their way. So 6 Tusken Raiders. We also have this guy here, Ur Uur. Power 1 ability 2 comes down for 2 and deploys only to Tatooine. Power plus 3 while armed with a Gaderffi stick. So straight up this guy can be power 4 ability 2. Where present, each of your banthas power and forfeit is plus 2 unless a weak way is at a related site. When riding a bantha, adds 1 battle destiny. Fantastic. We can get extra, we can add battle destiny, we can make those banthas more powerful as well. Really neat little guy, and that 4 power with a Gaderffi stick is amazing. Of course, we have the OG named Tusken Raider Urrrg, coming down for 3, but has a very healthy 4 for attrition. And only comes down to Tatooine, but may move elsewhere when at same site as another Tusken Raider. May draw 1 battle destiny if not able to otherwise. So he's kind of like the key. Wherever you want to battle, you kind of need this guy around to be able to get your battle destinies. He's going to be important, and then this guy can come in and maybe add a battle destiny. And then finally we have Ur Uur coming down again for 2, so it's like same cost and same forfeit as the other guy that we looked at previously, but this time we get 2 power and 1 ability. And deploys on the Tatooine, while at Tusken Canyon, Jonlan Wastes, or at the same site as this bloke here. Then adds 2 to each of your Battle Destiny draws at Tatooine sites where you have a Tusken Raider. So just keep these 2 together and you're golden. So these are the sort of unique Tuscans in the deck, and also we do have Boba Fett naturally. He's kind of our quote-unquote heavy hitter in the deck. We get 2 power and 1 to maneuver of anything he pilots. We do have a couple of swoop bikes in the deck, as you would imagine, keeping in flavor with Book of Boba Fett, so you can jump onto one of those and actually ride it around. Actually can move 3 as a land speed of 3 if he jumps onto one of those bikes. May deploy -1 as a react to the same side as a gangster or smuggler. Now we do have a Jabba the Hutt in the deck, so that's just to make this guy a little bit cheaper potentially. When firing weapons, any he character is a forfeit 0, may fly with land speed 3, immune to attrition less than 3. So really doesn't actually need to jump onto one of those bikes because he already has land speed 3. Now, going into some of the other helpful cards, we got Jabba the Hutt here from Jabba's Palace. Nice big beefy unit, draws Battle Destiny on his own. Gangster leader, alien, of course, important traits there. Deploys -2 at Tatooine or Nal Hutta. To move requires +2 force. May escort a captive, while at Audience Chamber adds 1 to forfeit of all your other aliens and allows you to activate 1 force whenever you force drain with an alien immune to attrition less than 4. So he's giving a whole bunch of extra beef to our deck once we get him down. No Tusken Raider deck would be complete without Tame Dran Garen. He is, when on Tatooine, may cancel any result of Krayt Dragon Bones. I'm going to dig out Krayt Dragon Bones later. Basically, there are some effects that you actually don't want to pull off when you're running Krayt Dragon Bones, but again, we're looking at the flavor. This guy actually helps us a lot with that. While at Audience Chamber, all your Tusken Raiders are power 3 and forfeit +2 and not limited to 4 per side. So he's one of the key cards for the deck. We ideally want to fish this guy out as soon as possible and also make sure that we kind of look after this character. We're running 1 Chalbacan, I don't know. When deployed, you may immediately search your reserve deck, take 1 non-unique alien into hand and reshuffle, so we can get a Tusken with it, or maybe a swoop mercenary, or a Skrillen. Adds to the power of any starship he pilots. That's not going to come into picture, but what's important is your aliens deploy -1 to same or adjacent Tatooine side, so not only can it dig for a Tusken Raider, we can actually get one of those down for cheaper. And then going into just non-unique aliens, we do have 2 swoop mercenaries. This is our swoop gang, guys. So look at these as our swoop gang. They are obviously non-unique, which is pretty good. They add 2 to power of anything they pilot or drive. When driving a swoop, adds 3 to land speed. When present at the site with another swoop mercenary, may draw 1 Battle Destiny if not able to otherwise. So the 2 of them can draw 1 Battle Destiny if they're together, which is pretty neat. But I also like the amount of speed they will get when they're on a swoop bike, and that is actually pretty good because they can then chase after an opponent who might be looking at, just getting away from a battle. And we got 2 Skrilling, not Skrillex, Skrilling. Again, non-unique aliens. Once per turn may steal a weapon or device from an opponent's character just lost or forfeited where present. When you play Tusken Scavengers, which we are, may steal vehicles, weapons, and devices found. So you actually place your opponent's cards into your used pile rather than just them becoming lost. But it's a nice little way to get extra cards that our opponent's running with, and we're just like, well, you know what? I'll have a little go with that. So this is our character lineup: 6 Raiders and then 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 17 characters all together in the deck. Obviously, most of them are pullable with a particular effect or another. So let's jump into interrupts now, because we immediately are looking at Tusken Scavengers. As I said, Skrilling really makes these cards a lot more decent. Basically, what Tuscan Scavengers do, besides the ridiculously high destiny value, and also I haven't pointed out, but most of our characters have 2, 3, maybe 4 destiny values, so that really helps a lot as well with destiny draws in the deck. So for the 1 force use, you draw destiny, and if destiny is lower than the number of Tuscan Raiders on the table, you may scavenge or search through the opponent's use pile. All vehicles, weapons, and devices you find there are lost. Why is this good? Because we can take out a bunch of stuff from our opponent's deck, and with the help of Skrilling, we can actually shuffle those back into our deck, and that is, well, obviously that can be useful through many different ways. So Tusken Scavengers obviously got to be in the deck for flavor. Moving on, we have what I will call the main removal of the deck, Gravel Storm. Strikes at Dune Sea, Jonland Wastes, Beggars Canyon, or Lars' Moisture from Jawa Camp or Mos Eisley. So these are the locations where you can play a Gravel Storm. Target one opponent's character at that side, draw destiny, target lost if destiny is higher than the ability of the character. So this is pretty good because we do have relatively good destiny draws, so pretty much any character to a ability of 4 maybe can be fairly easily removed, with fairly good confidence be removed with a Gravel Storm. So I really kind of like this card, and obviously it fits the theme of the deck. Just liking it here. Moving on, we got 1 copy of Jabba's Twerps. I only kind of stuck with 1 because it is a little bit more of a expensive card to find, and also I found that whilst that Destiny of 6 is really good, it is a Lost Interrupt. It's more of a one-off thing than anything else. If an opponent just initiated a battle where your alien leader is present, deploy up to 3 non-unique aliens to that location from reserve deck. Reshuffle, or once per game, retrieve 1 force for each of your alien leaders present at any battleground sites. So you can dump 3 Tuscan Raiders from your deck if you get an early leader out, which is fairly easy to do. We can start with Audience Chamber, immediately pull Jabba there, and if we have Jabba's Twerps in our hand, then we can immediately pull 3 Tuscan Raiders there, which is pretty neat, pretty sweet. But again, we got a bunch of other ways to pull Tuscans as well, so that really is in there for the high destiny value, and just kind of try it out in the deck. Now I'm running 2 Imperial Barriers. They are just to stop your opponent from absolutely smacking you in the face, dogpiling on you. Use 1 force to prevent any character or starship just deployed by the opponent from battling or moving for the remainder of this turn. If you're not running Imperial Barriers, then maybe this is a good option to think about it, because it's a pretty cool card. Use Interrupt as well. And of course, we have 4 copies of Bendha Herd. Just wanting to point out that this is you can play as many of these as you want during a turn. There's no limitation on them. Use Interrupt as well. We care about the second effect. Search your reserve deck and take 1 Bentha, Tusken Raider, Time Dern, Garen, or Weak Way into hand and reshuffle. So this will take, ideally what I kind of want to use this for is get the unique Tuskens out, or this guy, because they're all obviously very important for the deck to keep it running. So having Bantha Fodder is great. 4 Destiny is also great, as 4 of in the deck. Same vein, we have 4 copies of Abyssin Ornament. Now you can only play 1 of this per turn. And again, I realistically like the second effect here a little bit more, but once per game, target 1 non-unique character on the table, draw Destiny. If Destiny is lower than X, retrieve X force, where X is the number of copies of that card you have on table. Obviously, your target will be Tuscan Raiders. And then you can retrieve that much force, which is pretty cool. That's usually 3, 4, 5 force that you can kind of retrieve with this, which is pretty neat. But you can search your reserve deck and take a non-unique alien into hand and reshuffle. So you get an Abyss ornament. You kind of want to play them once a turn if you can. Just pull out all the Tuscan Raiders from the deck, so you're not weighing down your deck with those 2 destinies. And then these are used interrupt, so you keep these nice 5 destinies in the deck circulating around. Kind of like that idea. Now back to our swoop gang. We of course need swoop bikes to have a swoop gang, so we got the Flare S Racing Swoops, 2 copies of. Again, Destiny of 5, really great, comes down for 2. Doesn't have any, the power of 0, but it's got a maneuver of 5, which is fantastic. And the land speed is equaling the driver's ability, and maybe use at any time to follow an opponent's vehicle or character that just moved from same side if within the range. What's really cool about the Racing Swoop is that it can take 1 driver and 1 passenger. So in an ideal scenario, if we have one of these out, then of course we have one of the swoop mercenaries on it, and they have an ability of 1, but they add +3 to the land speed of any swoop bike, so they have a land speed of 4, which is ridiculously good. And you know, if you want to go after somebody with one of your Tuscans, the Tuscan's just gonna jump on as a passenger, and you can swoop about the whole place, which is just funny and fantastic and just very cool all at the same time. Obviously, Book of Boba Fett, we gotta have a swoop team, right? So this is our swoop gang. Moving on to banthas. First of all, we have Urrrg's bantha, which is a really cool bantha. Destiny of 3, pretty neat, comes down for 1, has a high forfeit value, 2 power, 2 maneuver, and 1 land speed. May add 2 riders. It has an ability of a half, which is actually pretty neat because 2 banthas draw a battle destiny. No, sorry, what am I talking about? 2 banthas have an ability of a whole 1. Draw battle destiny. You would need a lot of banthas. You need 8 banthas to draw battle destiny. We don't have that much. But yeah, back to this guy. Adds 1 to power of each of your Tuscan Raiders and other banthas present. So if we have, where is our main man? This dude here, all our Tuscan Raiders have a power of 3. And with Urrrg's bantha, we now have all our Tuscan Raiders with power 4. And of course, +2 forfeit as well, so that's pretty neat. And when ridden by Ur Uur, adds 1 battle destiny. So isn't that just absolutely amazing? Oh yes, yes, it absolutely is. It's trash, but it's super, super, super amazing. And of course we do have regular banthas as well, 4 to be precise. And regular banthas come down for 1. They're not quite as good as Urrrg's bantha, but they also can carry 2 passengers. Ability equals a half, may move as a react only to a battle or force drain if within range. Each Tuscan Raider at same exterior side is power +1. It just does everything that we need. Again, makes our Tuscans more powerful. They're also non-unique, so we can have all 4 of them down technically. They can move as a react to a battle or to a force drain, which is also really cool. One thing I do really like here is that we got these 4 banthas that can move as a react, and the 2 swoop bikes can follow somebody moving, so they're not quite moving as a react, but almost, you know. It allows us to move during our opponent's turn, which is still really, really cool. So this is it for vehicles and creatures, or creature vehicles. And to weapons, we of course have Boba Fett's blaster rifle. Really cool little card there. Use 1 force to deploy on Boba Fett or through on any other bounty hunter. May deploy as a react. May target using 2 force. Draw destiny character hit. If destiny is higher than the ability of the target, vehicle hit. If destiny +1 is higher than the armor or maneuver. So we can hit characters. We can hit vehicles with it as well, which is really cool. And it can repeat fire for 1 force each time. That's why I included this one, not the Boba Fett with blaster rifle, because I think it's really cool. The amount of like stuff you can do with Boba Fett's blaster rifle, and just a neat little card. Gotta have it in there for Boba. We also have Urrrg's hunting rifle, another very neat little weapon. Destiny of 5 again. Use one force to deploy on Urrrg or Chief Bass. There's a little story behind that. 3 on any non-droid character, even if it's not a warrior. Yes, you can put this on a character that's not a warrior. Let's look at some of those. Well, funny enough, to start with, Urrrg is actually not a warrior. And we also have our swoop mercenaries. They are not warriors either. No is Jabba. And imagine Jabba wielding Urrrg's hunting rifle. Yes, that is possible in this particular deck, as unbelievable as that may sound. Right, so what else does this little clever weapon do? May target using one force, draw destiny, character hit if destiny -1 is higher than ability. Creature immediately lost if destiny +2 is higher than the defense value. Oh, don't get me wrong, this is a rubbish weapon, but it fits the theme. But it's not as rubbish as Gaderffi sticks. Now, these are really just the bottom. But the main reason why we're running it is, of course, this guy really likes to carry a stick around. And actually, you know what? They're absolutely not the worst weapons at all. Use 2 force to deploy on any Tuscan Raider, may target for free. If a battle has just been initiated, where present, immediately draw 2 destiny. If total destiny is larger than 5, opponent's weapons are knocked away, may not be used this battle. So, you know, there are a bunch of annoying weapons in this game, particularly lightsabers and stuff like that. If you can knock that away, hey, that's actually not a bad thing. Often that can be the difference between you ending the battle with not losing any warriors compared to Boba Fett's blaster rifle, for example, is a great example that can just take out a whole team with the repeat fire. So, yeah, Gaderffi stick, cool little weapon. And then onto effects, we have the Crate Dragon Bones. As I said, there are some numbers that you don't want to end up drawing. That's what this guy is here to prevent. If we see our opponent flip any of the destiny numbers we don't like, then we can use this guy's effect to cancel it. What it does is you deploy for 1 force, and each opponent's destiny draw during each every single destiny draw your opponent does, you do the following. If it's a 0, put top use card into your hand. If they flip a 1, lose 1 force. If they flip a 2, you activate 1 force. If it's a 3, you lose this effect. If it's a 4, retrieve the top lost card. And if it's a 5, you can deploy a character for free. 6 and over, nothing. So this is where he comes in. He can just cancel the nasty ones. But again, Crate Dragon Bones has got to be in the deck, right? There's no other way. Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves is good for us to give the ability to, once per turn, we can cancel a force drain by placing here from hand any non-unique alien. Aliens may deploy from here as if from hand. And if this effect is cancelled, then you can deploy them all immediately for free. So it's just like, you know, some force drain cancellations. If you got a couple of extra Tuscan Raiders in your hand you haven't really set up yet, then you can obviously go forth and cancel some nasty ones. So I kind of like this one, but again, just a one-off. We have 2 copies of Bendha Herd. You are actually limited to 2 to be in play at any time. It's a mobile effect. It moves around the table. Deploy on an exterior Tatooine site. Specify starting direction. During your control phase, moves to next adjacent exterior site, reversing direction as necessary. During battle, if you're Tuscan Raider or Bantha here, you may add 1 battle destiny. I mean, that's just amazing. To add 1 battle destiny is really cool, particularly in a deck where you have like fairly decent destiny draw chances. So we got 2 Bendha Herd. Again, it's thematic. Again, it just makes our destiny draws better and more. And then finally onto locations. Now, when it comes to starting locations, I could definitely give you a few ideas. I think Tuscan Canyon can be a really good starting location, just because you can drain for 3 every turn if you control, and to be fair, it shouldn't really be that difficult to control You got a bunch of Tuscans, you got a bunch of ways to control one, maybe two particular locations. But if you don't prefer this one, maybe you want to start with Jonlan Wastes. Jonlan Wastes is not quite as good as Tuscan Canyon. It's still a really good location for us. Our Tuscan Raiders here are each 4 for +1, and if we control, we also get a +1 drain here. And our opponent needs a total ability of 6 or more to draw Battle Destiny here. So again, it's just a really neat little card. This is our playground. The sand dunes of Tatooine is where we really roll about. Naturally, we have the Krayt Dragon Pass, where we add 1 to each of our Battle Destiny draws here for each Tatooine battleground site we occupy. Again, shouldn't really be an issue. You're probably gonna be looking at. I mean, obviously, you're already looking at a +1 because you'll be occupying this, but you can probably look at it easily, looking at a +3 Battle Destiny draw here. And Force Drain -1 here if Krayt Dragon Bones on table. So we get the Krayt Dragon Bones down, our opponent can not even drain us here. So again, a beautiful location to really make his life a little bit more difficult. Another starting location, and if you guys want to go ahead and play the Jabba's objective that starts with Audience Chamber in play, then that's a really good call as well. I'm kind of like just really trying to bring this deck to you guys finally, because it's been in the way for so long. So if you want to go down the route of starting with that objective and dropping the Audience Chamber, that's really cool as well. I kind of like to start with one of the Tatooine sites because those are ultimately more important than the Audience Chamber, but being able to immediately activate 2 more force at the beginning is also very beneficial. And not that our stuff is generally too expensive, it's not really expensive. We can operate on relatively low force generation per turn. But anyway, the Audience Chamber allows us to pull an alien here from reserve deck. You may deploy 1 alien here from reserve deck. So again, that is a very valuable thing to have. And yeah. What I would say is probably not the greatest starting location is Mos Eisley, but for Boba Fett particularly, and even I think it's only Boba Fett that is affected. He gets power +1, each power, and forfeit +1 here. So Boba Fett is very powerful here. We do have Lars's moisture farm because, well, I mean, it's quite grim that they got the skeletons on it, but never mind. Adds 1 to each of your weapon destiny draws here if you control Force Drain +1 here. So again, it's just one of those sides that we really benefit from if you control it. Gives us a nice little edge. And then finally, we have a copy of the Jawa Camp. And that is pretty much just to have another nice little Tatooine location. And I think Jawa Camp is another one of those places where actually our Sandstorm, yes, that's the other reason that the Gravel Storm can be used here. So as you can see, we're only running 7 locations. And again, we don't really have much that actually pulls locations out, which is kind of like a risky thing. But this deck is still very much in need of refining, making it better, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what I might need a little bit more of. An objective that helps us to start with is never a bad thing, but this is just, keeping it to the basics, keeping it raw. Again, I didn't really go into any of the yeah, there's nothing from Endor, nothing from Death Star 2, nothing from Reflections, or anything from Episode 1. One thing that could be cool is to maybe include a copy of Aura Singh, just to be another bounty hunter on the side of Boba Fett. I know we don't have the character from Book of Boba Fett, can't remember her name off the top, but that would be a cool thing to have somebody else there to help out Boba, because he's kind of like the guy who's our problem solver in the deck, but obviously he does need support to be able to deal with any of the staples. But this is kind of like more like, well, okay, if your buddy has like a light side Jawa deck, yes, I'm looking at you, Derek. Then you can crack this out and have a fun time with. So honestly, without any further ado, guys, this is our Book of Boba Fett. Tuscans on Tatooine with Boba kind of deck profile. I hope you liked it, and I hope it was worth the wait. Again, I'm sorry I was very late with this particular deck, but you know, now it's eternalized until YouTube exists or this video doesn't get deleted. So one way or another, thanks for joining me, guys. Bustin signing out. Peace.